Hello everybody and welcome back. I'm Pietro Chiovaro and this is the second episode of how to create a Disney Pixar style project in Blender. In the previous episode I showed you how to create the house of the project. Today I'm gonna show you how to create the sidewalk, the road, the garden. As you can see here there is the Christmas tree that I'm giving for free on pietrochiovaro.com. If you are interested to learn how to create a tree like this in Blender, you can find a video in the channel. Now, let's get started. The first step is the creation of the road. To create a road is really simple. You have to add a plan, create a new material, give a name to the material, and add a texture. In the previous episode, I showed you how to create the materials using the Wrangler add-on. Today I'm gonna show you how to create the road material and other kind of material using a single texture, since sometimes we haven't all the texture that are part of the PBR, and if you are not expert using software like a Substance Designer, or you are a photographer, a great photographer, you haven't the other map that are required for a PBR material. For this material, you need just one texture. Add it using the image texture, then link it to the base color of the principal bust shader and add a displacement. Here you have to link the image texture to the height of the displacement and link the displacement to the output of the material output. Then, going back to the shader editor, we have to decrease the strength of the displacement, since it gives something else to the material, but it's still too hard. So decrease the effect, decreasing the scale of the displacement. You can change the roughness, the specularity, and this kind of parameters. To create a road, I will use an array modifier in order to create other parts of the road. We have just to go in the modifier panel and add an array modifier. As you can see right now, the road is really repetitive, it's too simple, and it's not too much realistic. So what I'm going to do now is to add some variances, some imperfection to the shape of the road, and moreover I'm going to show you how to create a sort of variances in the specularity, creating some ice in the road or on the wet part. I'll show you a really simple and powerful way. To do this, we need to enable the import image as plan. So you have to go in the edit preferences, search for the image as plan, and enable this add-on. Now we can import textures as plan. It's really useful for many different kind of workflow. Now we have to select image texture with alpha properties. Since I'm going to create the ice and wet part of the road, I will select a sort of cloud smoke texture with the alpha channel. As you can see, there are white and black parts. This happens since we have to change the shader settings of this material. In particular, we have to go in the material shader panel and change the blend and the shadow mode of the material to alpha hashed. In this way, the software will recognize the alpha part of the texture and the material will become transparent in the black part. Now we can scale it and place it on the road. The shader editor, you can even change the intensity and roughness of this material. For the manual, leaves and other flat things like that, you can repeat the process, adding a displacement in the shader editor, as I show you in the material of the road. This way, you will add some differences to the main part and the base elements of your project, creating some differences and achieving a realistic effect. Step 2. The sidewalk. In order to create the sidewalk, we have to add a plan and place it at the bottom of the house, scale it and give it a rectangular shape. Now you can select an edge and extrude it, creating an inclination going near to the street. For the border of the sidewalk, I create a rectangular shape starting from a cube, and I imported the PBR texture from my library. Then I placed it manually, being careful to change the scale, inclination and shape along the edge of the sidewalk. Now we have to create the material of the sidewalk. Again, add a new material, rename the material and add a good sidewalk texture. As you can see, there are some issues to the UV. This happened because we changed the shape of the mesh. To solve it, we have to unwrap it again. So, apply the scale of the mesh, go in edit mode, and select the UV unwrap method. In this special case, you can even use the project from view method, going at the top view of the map. The sidewalk is ready, so we can add some variations and details as we did with the road. Step 3. The grass. In order to create this little garden, the gallard and the other vegetables, I used a different method from the one used usually for the creation of grass, the particle system. I created a mesh. This method requires just a plan and 2 modifiers. First thing, add the plan and scale it in order to create a rectangular shape. Step 2. Import a grass texture. It's not a problem if the texture has a low quality. Subdivide a bit the plan and going in the modifier panel, add a subdivision modifier and a displacement modifier. Before to use the displacement modifier, we have to add a texture and import it to the system in this way. Now we can add many subdivisions and apply the 2 modifier. In order to decrease the big amount of polygons of this mesh, I even used another modifier, the decimate modifier, decreasing the number of faces of the model and applying the modifier. We can use the same workflow for the bush and the gallard, using a sphere and a torus as the base mesh of the model. In this second episode, I show you some simple and powerful 3D artist life hack, but I want to show you still something. How to create this foggy and atmospheric world effect. The process is really simple, but it's really powerful. You have to change the world color. I use the dark blue, and then you have to add a value scatter in order to give density to the sky. The default parameter is set to 1000 and it's really aggressive, so I'll decrease the default value to 0.06. I think it gives a really good atmosphere to the ambient. That's all, everybody. Thank you so much for the kind messages you sent to me and the support that you are demonstrating for this series. I'm really happy to share with you my knowledge and my experience. If you haven't, leave a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. The next episode will be released really soon, so stay tuned. I wish you a Merry Christmas and see you soon.